What would have happened to my people
I just did. So what
had the South won?
Okay,
I have no idea.
Work for you? No.
What would have happened to my people had the South won?
But that's like saying,
Had the South won, they would have been shipped back to Africa because Lincoln said that he wanted to do that. He is on record saying, had the South won.
Hold on.
What would have happened to my people?
My ancestor was dirt poor.
This is not a dialogue.
Hold
We
on.
can
No,
all
no.
go home.
What would have, this is a very simple question. The answer is they would have remained in slavery. The answer is they would not have been free. The
problem is
that is the answer.
That's the answer. That's the answer you're wanting. That is the answer that you're wanting.
You are attempting to rewrite history.
No,
No, we are not trying to rewrite history. You're the one
Lincoln is
changing
on
it.
record saying this.
Yes.
That he would ship all Africans back because they were not equal. Thank you. Lincoln, because they were not equal. Correct. We were not equal.
We didn't
Lincoln
say that.
said that.
Lincoln, you're
My
great
family did not
emancipator.
say that.
You're
My
great.
family fought side by side with
Lincoln or not?
No.
So why do you carry that flag?
Because this is my heritage. My family fought to save their farm under this flag.
Who was working that farm?
My
My
ancestors
family
were.
was.
Who was working the farm?
They were poor. Do you know how much a slave cost back then?
Oh, I wish I was in the land of cotton. No times there or not. Woo! God bless the Confederacy.
We must remember something.
You heard about they took down another Confederate statue the other day.
I haven't kept up on those. It doesn't surprise me at all.
With the Make America Great Again movement,
Just keep it flying.
Keep it flying? And why do you want to keep it flying?
Why would anybody want to erase our heritage?
Well, some people would say that flag symbolizes racism, it symbolizes slavery, and they might have some valid points there.
That's their opinion, they're welcome to their opinion if they want it.
Are you pro-slavery or against slavery?
I have no comment, but thank you for the interview.
I'll give you one more chance. Pro or anti-slavery?
No comment.
I'll give you one more opportunity to say if you're pro or anti-slavery.
No comment.
All right, well, there you have it. No comment on the if you're in favor of slavery or not.
they are the modern day Confederates. Why do we see Confederate flags being flown at high school basketball games in the year 2026?
And that is the Confederate flag means something beyond, perhaps completely apart from, racism or its racist history.
Why do we see MAGA defending it on huge platforms? The facts here are simply undeniable. And the parallels remain pure.
This is a map of the Confederacy. This is a map of a Jim Crow South provided by Florida Atlantic University. And this is a map of the possible redistricting of the U.S. South. Notice how they're almost exactly the same?
Thus, we now have calls for athletes to step up.
This is right on time. SEC, the Southeastern Conference boycott in response to the gutting of the Voting Rights Amendment. SEC universities support Republican politicians who stripped away voting districts that predominantly serve black voters while making billions of revenue from black athletes. 56% of all black Americans live in the Confederate States. We are calling on all football, basketball, track and field, and other athletic programs to participate in this SEC athletics boycott. A weekly boycott of all nationally televised SEC games. I could do that. All current black athletes to transfer. Ooh, Lordy. And for athletes to decommit from SEC schools. You know what? Voting rights and representation are the most fundamental rights for all Americans, and black voters deserve the same rights as all other Americans. Here are the schools.
So essentially, the NAACP made the call for black athletes and their supporters to boycott public universities in states that have moved to limit, weaken, or erase black voting representation in the wake of SCOTUS's recent decision to dramatically limit the landmark Voting Rights Act.
As soon as
the United States Congress stand united to ensure our Constitution represent all of us, we will be a better nation as a result. NAACP this morning, in solidarity with the CBC, we are calling on athletes who are coming out of high school not to attend any state-funded school of states that have moved to minimize our right to vote, to minimize our ability to elect candidates of our choice, and states that are seeking to create a sharecropping reality.
The campaign urges prospective black athletes, their families, alumni, and fans to withhold athletic and financial support from major public universities in states that have moved to limit, weaken, or erase black voting representation. So which states are they targeting here? Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi, Texas, and South Carolina. They argue that the athletic programs of those states' flagship universities are especially reliant on black athletic talent and should protect black political interests. Now, to be clear, it's not just the athletes that they are calling on. They also ask for the following to also take the pledge. Fans to stop purchasing those tickets and, of course, merch from the programs. And for current athletes to use their platforms to question school leaders about voting rights. Recruits and current athletes are being encouraged to strongly consider committing or transferring to HBCUs.
Does it have a chance to work? Absolutely. But that depends on the commitment of the parents of black recruits. That depends on the commitment of the black recruits themselves. Colin Kaepernick decided to take a knee to bring attention to social injustice, to police brutality, to racial oppression. What followed was a well-orchestrated campaign by the NFL with the help of Donald Trump to exile Colin Kaepernick from the NFL. There was silence. The players as a collective did not stand up for Colin. They therefore allowed the owners and the political machine itself to ruin this man's career. The fans also, they might have supported in terms of saying, wow, that's great that he's doing that. That's amazing that he has that kind of mental fortitude. That's incredible that he's willing to speak out. But they didn't stop watching. They never withdrew their own support from the NFL.
Alan Wilson, the Attorney General of South Carolina, who's running for governor, would write online. Student athletes should not be used by the NAACP for political gain because they disagree with SCOTUS. That's wrong, and South Carolina will not be bullied into ignoring the Constitution. Ask him about a Trump third term. The Supreme Court made clear that race-based gerrymandering is unconstitutional. We will follow the law and defend fair constitutional elections in South Carolina. Okay. So how do I feel about this? Do I think it could work? On paper, yeah, it can work. Do I think it will? I just don't. Unfortunately, I don't. I would love to see it work. But I think in this day and age, especially with sports, it's really hard to build these movements. And I'm glad that Jamil Hill brought up Colin Kaepernick because it is rather perfect. But I think we also need to understand that for many athletes, this is life-changing money. Like literally life-changing money. AJ DeBonsa made a killing at BYU because they could afford to pay him. And unless there is that investment within HBCUs, not just to upgrade some facilities, but also invest in the football programs, invest in the infrastructure, and to pay the players, I just don't see how they can compete with an Alabama. I'm just being realistic. Is it for the greater good? Yes. Do I want to see it happen? Yes. Yes. Do I want to see all of these state schools have some sort of retribution from the labor force to withhold said labor and go to different schools to punish them? Yeah, I mean, imagine if Alabama, Texas, Mississippi, Mizzou, all of these teams fell out of the top 25. Hell, top 45. Imagine it. Imagine what would happen. Do I think it would implement change? Yeah. Yes. We went over this previously, but Kylan Hill, who played previously in the SEC, led the entire conference in rushing one year. He said that he would transfer schools if his state, did not change the state flag logo. And they did. Tate Reeves and company changed it. That was in 2020 in the wake of the George Floyd protests. And when it felt like white folks were going to at least try to understand the history of this country. But no, here we are 6 years later. I digress. I would also make an important point here. Yes, it is on athletes to do this. Why aren't we calling out white athletes to do this? Like, we're putting such a heavy onus on black athletes, and I think that's fair because they make up way more than 50% of the labor force in football and basketball. But it should also, in order to build a coalition, you need everybody. You got to have everybody participate. I am calling on the white athletes to participate too. Because if you do remember, going back to Colin, Aaron Rodgers made like an okay statement on it. Tom Brady said nothing. Many others said nothing. That would have shown a lot. If some who view as just not even getting a pass, but also coming to the conclusion that they are not for the cause. Imagine if the Iowa Hawkeye offensive line, which produces just NFL talent every single year, said, yeah, you know what? No, we're not going to stand for this. Imagine. So I am calling on them. And I really hope it happens. I truly do. I would love to see it. And I would love to see once more how sports can champion change. Hey, I appreciate you watching. Now, if you can, please do become a channel member by going to youtube.com/tytsports and clicking the join button. If that's too much for you, you can just go to tyt.com/join to become a member. It helps all of us out here at the Young Turks and keeps our network afloat. In addition, you could follow me on my socials on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate the love. Have a great day.